1 New Frederick Street. I'll be brief. I'd like to know when did this all start? And I'd like copies of everything involved with this. Because I mean, nobody, was this ever publicly, it's the first time I'm hearing.
Mr. Kevabowski, when did what all start?
With this camera
Surveillance camera?
Yeah. And I'd like all available information. You each have, I'd like to ask each council member, were you aware of this up until today? Because, I mean, there's been all kind of problems with everything this administration does, and now all of a sudden we're here with a $650,000 contract. I'd like all available information on it. I'm going to ask City Council to table this, especially if you didn't have all this information until this could be gone over. Because to me, it seems like I don't want this administration's corrupt deals. And I mean, that's only my opinion. So I'm going to ask you to table it until this thing could be looked into. Because it's the first I'm hearing of it. And also, I'd just like to criticize you. I think this is a real inconvenience that I have to take time out of my afternoon to come down here at 1 for this stuff. So I'd like all available information. I'm going to ask all your council members to table this until this could be gone over. Because, as you know what Hawkeye is. I mean, Hawkeye is J.J. Murphy and everybody else. So I'd like to ask you to table. And now I'm asking council members if you could answer me. When did you become aware of this?
Is it all?
Yes.
Does anyone care to comment?
I'm in agreement with Mr. Kevabowski. I'd like to table that to get some information. Because like I said, I don't know what they're doing for the $650,000 at all.
Mike, can I say something?
Sure.
Okay. The city has had a camera system since 2008. Anyone who is not aware of the fact that we have cameras everywhere, hasn't been in the city of Wilkes-Barre. We went on May 2008. There were advertisements for proposals to be submitted in the paper. Wire Free Wilkes-Barre vetted those. They selected this vendor. We have, Bob, we have cameras. It's no secret we've had cameras. If any of the council people had any questions as to whether we have a camera system, and if you want cameras in the intermodal, then you vote for this. If not, we can't have a standalone system over there. It would cost too much money. We'd get standalone, and who would monitor it? It only makes common sense to put these cameras in the system that's over in the police station. So,
I don't know. That's the question.
There are no cameras in the intermodal right now. There are cameras in every other garage. And we keep getting complaints about no cameras, and people are parking in there, and their cars are getting broken into. This was a move to get this finally put together and to get cameras in that facility. So it's up to you, all of you, however you feel about it. Everybody knows about the camera system, and it was done correctly according to the procurement procedures when it was originally put together. So that's all I could say about it. If you have any questions, I'm more than willing to answer.
I have no problem with the camera system, but I'd just like to know what we're paying for $650,000.
Lou, do you want it?
Yeah.
No, Mr.
How many cameras?
The camera system itself is going to be comprised of approximately 62 cameras, covering the garage decks, the walkways, the elevators, the pathways to the intermodal from the square and from South Main Street, and a few cameras looking out towards Washington from the facility itself. It'll be integrated with the system that's already existing in the central garage, which is connected to our facility with fiber. So it's a fairly well thought out plan that covers the areas of the garage. Just like every other garage we've done, it's the same similar layout. It's just a larger garage using more cameras.
What are the specs on the camera? That's what I'm asking. All you have here is you can cameras. I don't know if they're video cameras or not. All I'm asking for is some information on what you're putting in. I mean, we come here and ask us to bid on $650,000 without any information.
Lou would be happy to explain that, Tony.
Okay,
It's
but like
62 cameras that are compatible with the system. But you go ahead, Lou, and go into the
if you want to get
software, you could go through the whole deal in the system.
They're DVTEL Cerex 1.3 megapixel cameras with low light enhancement to capture images in low light, like in a parking deck, even in the daylight, the light's a little lower on the decks. We've actually done a demo of the camera, the actual model we're going to use in the garage, with great results. Those cameras are going to be wired together, hooked to a network switch, which will go back to pre-existing fiber back to here, to our pre-existing servers. We're going to add probably an additional server and some drives and storage space to handle the additional flow of cameras. That's pretty much it in a nutshell.
Again, could you give me the paperwork, man, so we can read it?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Mr. Barrett.
I had knowledge of this, having knowledge of the whole project in the beginning of 2008, and I do know that this installation was pre-planned, obviously, part of when the intermodal was complete, that this was to be done. We do know that there have been not extensive, but repeated problems inside of the intermodal center. Not that cameras were prevented somebody from being struck by a vehicle, that did happen. It would provide evidentiary information as to what did occur. There are vehicles that are broken into, plus people generally feel safer when they know that the facility is protected. I do know that these are 1.3 megapixel cameras. They're very high resolution cameras. It's not junk. The equipment that Schneider has installed in the past has been very reliable, has worked well. And again, I'm just attesting from my previous knowledge, having been involved with the board that worked on this from the very beginning. And I can only say that Mr. Lau is comfortable with this installation, the integration. It's kind of like putting, you do have to go with what works with the system. You can't put Chevy parts into a Dodge. It's not going to work. These pieces have to work together. They have to work with monitoring and recording devices. And if they don't, then that's where we would be wasting money. So I have a lot of confidence in the system and what Mr. Lau has put into it. I feel that he has very strong hands-on knowledge of what the system entails and what is needed. And I also believe that this intermodal of all the parking garages, not that anyone is more important than the other, but not having equipment there would be making mistakes in the facility. Thank you.
Why wasn't that, when we built the intermodal, focused it, put it into the price of the intermodal itself?
If I'm not mistaken, and I'm speaking out of turn, Mr. Lau has more knowledge of this, but there was some pre-planning as far as installation, as far as conduits being run and certain things of that nature. And that's not uncommon to have that occur, waiting until the construction is complete before you start installing these types of devices and hardware and those types of things. But I'm sure there was pre-planning in place, and I know there was as far as facilitating the installation of this equipment. And maybe there should have been a little bit more in front of us here today, but that's not uncommon. We do get a resolution. It's always good to ask questions about the resolutions before us, but I do know that this wasn't something that just came up this month.
I'm not doubting that. I just don't like the idea of signing for some $650,000 when not, you knew.
Perfectly,
I didn't know anything.
perfectly
I think
understand.
Mrs. Lavelle didn't know anything, Mr. Merrick didn't know anything. It's just that we're paying $650,000 for a camera system without any paperwork. I still would like the paperwork before I agree to that. And if you want to vote for it, I suggest you pull that out of all the other resolutions, because I'm not going to vote in favor.
Okay, could you tell me what you would like?
I like the paperwork.
The technical specs, so you can review
Right,
them?
and like
for
he
your-
said, everything was ran already. Are they charging us to rerun it, even though they ran already?
The conduit is in, it was put in by the electrician when the facility was built.
Right,
We did not, we had half of the money to do the project. We just recently, through the gaming funds, got the match for that money. So that is why we didn't do it right after the facility was built and opened. So I don't know what you're looking for. I mean,
If you
you're
got-
looking at a technical spec, I don't know how that's
I'm
going to
looking
help
at
you.
what are they charging us for? Is it cost of phase 1 is $325, cost of phase 2 is $320. I don't know what phase 1 is, and I don't know what phase 2 is.
Phase 1 is the spending the gaming funds up front, and then spending the federal transit money secondly. So it is in 2 phases.
So can I see the contract for Snyder Electric is what I'm asking? See what they're doing, where they're charging us $650,000.
Do you have that,
Have a whole-
It's a proposal, not yet a contract.
I think, yeah, you kind of get this in here.
Like again, like if you want to go on without it, it's gonna take me a little while to read this. I don't know if you want to wait till I finish reading this. If you want to separate.
Mr. Chairman, while Mr. George is reading that, there's a member of the media with a question, because everybody seems to run out right after the meetings. Maureen said that this is a sole source procurement. Are you saying that there's no other contractor that can do this work?
There is no other contractor that can do this because we need to be compatible with the system that has been placed in and the vendor that holds the licenses.
Could other contractors get the licenses?
Lou?
No, I don't think so. It's an exclusive license. Schneider has the exclusive license to be the reseller for EVTech products for this region. That was the case from when we first, even before the RFPs were out. I believe so. That when anything we buy, I cannot go out and buy a EVTech product unless I go through the licensed reseller for that, for EVTech. And that's the way it's been.
Just so you understand, Bill, if you understood when I was speaking in 2008, Wireless Wilkes-Barre went out for proposals for the system. They got 7 responses. They vetted those and selected TAC, which was part of Schneider, and Schneider just, repackaged their deal and renamed their company.
Aware that Schneider was in fact the contractor.
There were 6 other vendors that were applying to do
Do
this
the cameras
system,
we have now work?
and they were not
No.
selected. It's just like when we go out for engineering services,
I know.
and the engineers, we might get 6 different
But I guess I'm asking,
proposals.
is if they bid in 2008,
There's no bid, it's a
but
proposal.
in 2008 they submitted a proposal,
Yes,
so they could have done the work then, why can't they do the work now?
because we need to be, because most of the system is already in place. The software is in place. So to be compatible, we have to go with the company that has the licenses.
So you're saying that if I call, can I have a list of the other bidders from '08, so I can call and ask them if they could do this work now?
Sure.
Okay, I like that.
Mr. Mayor, could I address this point now?
Sure, Mayor, one more comment?
Go ahead, Mr. Kavanaugh.
Okay. Mr. McCormick, with all due respect,
Yes.
the past history of this administration is not good.
I don't find that to be true.
Well, hold on, well, let me finish, okay? Now, you always tell me to stop interrupting, tell her to stop interrupting me. I didn't interrupt you. Okay, I'm trying. Okay, thank you.
And if she wants to comment, she can.
Okay. Mr. McCormick, starting in. The past history of this administration, you've seen what's coming out on these other issues. Here we go again. You expect our council to just vote on this now. Once again, we have a monopoly over that. And this camera system has been in question since. And we talk about it's going to increase the safety. Let's take a look at all the other parkades. How many robberies, car stereos, everything stolen out of the cars. And then Mr. Barrett, who has a conflict there because he's on the Hawkeye board, brags about how good it is. Who caught the bank robber on the square where all the cameras are concentrated on? Me. Who caught the attempted armed robbery on South Main Street? Did Hawkeye? No, me. And I think the problem we have here is Bill's bringing up a good question. Here we go again. Did this contractor give Mayor Layton any kind of campaign contribution? Are you aware of any?
I am not, I don't know.
Right. This isn't an emergency. This doesn't have to be done today. I'm asking council, table this thing. Here we go again. Here we go again. Let's ram this down the taxpayer's throat, because that's who's paying for it. Here we go again. So I'm just going to ask you to table it, council. Mr. Barrett has a conflict. He shouldn't even vote on this. I'm asking you, Mrs. Lavelle, you, Mr. George, Mr. Merritt, just table this. This is no big issue. If it takes another 2 weeks, so what? Let's get everybody informed. You can't expect Mr. George to sit there and analyze this contract in 5 minutes. We have to get to the bottom of this. This is all new to everybody. All of a sudden, here we are again. So I'm asking you to table it. Because to me, it stinks just like the other things this administration done, where it's what a miracle, where who gives the mayor the money? Mysteriously, they're the guy that gets the contracts. So let's table it, and then we'll move on. If it's good, go with it. If it's questionable, done. But to me, it looks like we're just creating another monopoly, and that's what it is.
Mike?
Thank you. Thank you, Mr.
You want to say something, Ray?
Yes. I don't know that, if you know that there's a conflict here, just say it. The question is, do you want cameras in the intermodal or don't you? Because if they aren't compatible, we're not putting them in.
Then don't
So
put them
it's, that's what you're saying. You don't think that the camera system is
We
worth.
got to stop the back and forth. Are you done, Mr. Katafasky?
Yeah, I'll just ask one more time. Mr. Barrett, you have a conflict.
No, maybe,
Hold on. Okay, back to your seat, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
for the record,